folks. Old man Grognard here. Well, I've got a few things in the mail, by the way. We've got another email to read. I just want to give a shout out to Ivan Mike 1968. Mike, I am really enjoying your D&D videos, your vlogs, or whatever you want to call them, what I do. But I want to give you a shout out. I really like them and I really appreciate them. Thanks. Give me a lot to think about. Now, believe me, I need something to think about. But I've got a few things in today. Got this off of eBay. I don't know if you can see that. The old hidden shrine of Tamoa-chan. Right there. Really good copy too. I mean, it's everything's there and it's almost in like mint condition. I'm hoping to work that into some kind of astonishing swordsman action once I start running again. The Monday game's happening again, but looks like I'll be a player this time because one of the other people want to run something in 5e. So give me a little breather time to come up with something. Probably something having to do with Savage Worlds, possibly 50 Fathoms, possibly. I just got Rippers, so I've been excited about that. The Player's Handbook and the Game Master Guide. So I'm excited about that. Although they put it in 2 books, of course. I think I'm going to complain about that until the day I die. Anyway, let's get to this email. It is from James Poling. Thank you for sending it, James. It says, hello, Glenn. I am listening to all the Thaco's Hammer from the beginning, and I'm currently up to episode 34. Well, you got a ways to go. I've also been listening to all of your, or I guess he's watching it too. I'm listening to all of your YouTube video vlogs, and I enjoy each one. I've been a DM since I was 14 and discovered the Mensa Red Box. I am 42 now. Well, you were up on me. I didn't start till I was 22 in gaming. I played 1E for a long time until 2E came out, and I played it until about 2000. I since purchased all editions of D&D released after that, though I am finding that the game does not give me the joy it once did. Aw. I'm sorry to hear that. So now I am experimenting with OSR games, and I've kept all of my original books from every edition. Good idea. I don't seem to be able to wrap my brain around some concepts of 1E/2E/BECME that I must have ignored when I was a child. Mainly it involves time and turns and torches. There seems to be a mechanic that existed in those editions for movement and exploration that I really want to use, but it seems so strange now. I wish I could remember how to do it. I find there is no fear in the new editions of the game, and that skills, spells, and cantrips have made Garen light obsolete concepts. We'll get to that in a minute. That was what made those games great. Why have we gotten rid of it? Anyway, please give a little time to discussing how this sort of thing was done in those editions, so maybe I can relearn what modern games have caused me to lose sight of. Thanks. By the way, After Dark is good. Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for writing. Okay, let me start with the mechanic. I believe this is kind of, I don't know if this is simplistic or me just misunderstanding, but I did do a little research for you. Pulled out my 1E books. In the Player's Handbook, page 102 talks about light. And there's also a chart there for what different light sources do. And the typical torch throws a 40-foot radius of light, and it lasts 6 turns, or 1 hour. And a lantern lasts 24 turns, which is about 4 hours, and it throws an 80-inch radius of light. Now, in second edition, Player's Handbook, page 118, about light, the torch runs 30 minutes. So, a little shorter there. And a lantern will give you 2 hours light for a pint. So, per pint of oil. So, that's the mechanic I found. I didn't look in basic because I don't remember anything about torches or lights and anything in there. But let me discuss what you were talking about here. About there's no fear in new editions. I want to lay that on the doorstep of 4E, but I saw it happening earlier. We could probably, I don't want to go all the way back to 2E, but I'll bet the seeds were there, especially in those players' options books. Wasn't TSR's finest hour. I mean, yes, they're good and they're fun, and I know people get a lot of use out of them, but I was happy with just the splat books because the splat books are easy to say, okay, you can't use this. It was just easier for me to do that. And, the game, you can go something like this all the way back to like first edition. And because, the game got more complicated there. Then Unarthed Arcana came out for first edition, and that was kind of the harbinger of things to come. Things just got more complicated and more rules heavy. You had to have a rule for everything, which was kind of like wonky for me. So it just got to be it got me too unwieldy, and that just sort of sucked what you're talking about out of the game a bit. And when 4th edition came along, they got this idea of let's make it like a video game. And all of a sudden it stopped being fun, and thus the OSR was born. Now, I could have people debate on that, especially fans of 4E. 5E's getting back to that. I admire that. I still don't want to run it for reasons I've already given, but you can get it back. I mean, with little rules like this, like time and torches. Now, to me, those are little niggling bits that I don't like to deal with. To me, it's the equivalent of nitpicking in a game. But I can understand how that would give flavor. And there are DMs out there who still keep strict accounting of time. I know my DM Matt used to do that. He had a turn tracker on his DM screen that he would move. If you lit a torch or something, or there was something that happens that something's going to happen in so many turns, or just, to keep track of it. So yeah, that's valuable, and it does give flavor. I just don't think it was necessary for me. I read in the DMG how Gary's saying, anybody who doesn't keep strict time is not, you have to have strict time in D&D and AD&D. No, Gary, you don't. I don't care how many days it's been. I can make something up. I can generally kind of ballpark what I need. So, because I that's minutia I don't like to deal with. But I understand where you're coming from. Because there's little things like that kind of remind you, hey, it's an adventure. You're in a dungeon. That torch is going to burn out. That lantern is going to get empty. Your resources will be used up. So I understand that. But I want to say it's all on you, but it all depends on the right edition and system you're using. And when I say right, I mean right for you. The one that's right for me usually is the Rule Cyclopedia. I played the retro clones. I have no problem running retro clones. I can run Labyrinth, Lord and Swords and Wizardry probably with my eyes closed because I know the original system. 1E is fun. I've had fun in 1E. 2E is fun. 2E stripped down is a lot of fun. 3E is kind of fun if you're not using, if you're just like not using Pathfinder or 3E and using Castles and Crusades. 4E, we've gone over that. 5E, the fun's coming back because they're trying to stress. It's the whole thing of rulings, not rules, for the earlier editions. Because I do hold to the belief that these rules were incomplete for a reason. I mean, there's some guy who wrote a blog. I can't remember if it was a blog thing. My friend Eric had a blog entry where he said, like, anything up to first edition was incomplete. An incomplete system tacked on and everything. Well, to me, that's the whole nature of D&D. You've got a framework, okay? And that's what you should be working with. It'll tell you what to do in most normal situations, but not everything. Everything. It just... First of all, you can't, okay? It's physically impossible. I don't even know why systems like 4th edition tried to, or even 3rd. I mean, it was just like a rule for everything. I didn't like it as I was constantly... In 3rd edition, I didn't like it. I was constantly looking in the books. Oh, wait a minute. Let me look it up. No, I'm not going to look it up. I'm going to make a ruling. But, yeah, use the framework. Use the framework and just deviate from there. I remember going to conventions back in the day, like the 2E days, where you still have 1E Grognards around, and basic Grognards who would run their own version of D&D, which they house ruled to high heaven, and they do this and that and the other thing, and they add a little bit from this edition and maybe from the original 3 books. If you ever go to like Gary Con or especially North Texas RPG Con, and Tim Kask is there, get in a game with him, or Frank Menser, or Jim Ward. Those are the guys who took D&D and they play their own version of D&D. They've house ruled it, they've added stuff, they've taken stuff from other things, and it works for them. As long as it works for the group, that's the whole thing. And that's how you get the flavor back of D&D. Just cracking one of these open, kind of gets it for me. And once I'm sitting down on the table and playing it and looking at that character sheet and rolling them dice, yeah, I'm a happy boy. So, you gotta kind of make it. I'm not going to say make it yourself. I know I'm going all over the place all over the map with this, but I think the idea I'm trying to tell you is it's still there. You just got to define it for you and your group. You can get back to it in your mind. You can play like it's 1982 again. It's not, but that feeling can still be there. Even if you're playing something like Labyrinth Lord, that feeling is there. Just that pioneering feeling. Because remember, just, rule zero. Rule zero, rule zero, rule zero. Rulings, not rules. That was the whole essence of the game. You had basic rules, which were a framework. Everything like that is just rulings. My character wants to jump off a cliff. How high is the cliff? About 60 feet. Okay, I see a branch down at about 40 feet below. I'm going to aim for that. Go ahead and jump. Do a dex check. And if I'm really nice, I'll give you a saving throw to hit the branch. That's the way you do it. That is the way you do it. Look, they already know how to fight. And they already know how to make saving throws. And they already know how to look for traps. And that's all they need to know. They know, all they need to know, all the characters need to know is what's in their wheelhouse. Thief knows how to look for traps. Cleric knows how to heal and turn undead. Fighter, well, We all know what fighters do. Fight. Mages, stay in the back, throw the spells. Now I'm not telling you they shouldn't do things like come up with something clever, because that's the spice of the game right there. But the rules as a framework, that's their bailiwick, and so if they want to push that, that's fine, but they can always fall back on their bailiwick, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I kind of went like round the world in 80 days on that one, so I think you may have gotten some out of it. Thanks, Sam, again. And, well, folks, I hope to have a few new reviews out soon. I've got some stuff coming in the mail tomorrow. And no, Eric, I'm not going to be putting up reviews the next day. I don't care what you send me about speed reading. Oh, well, but I'll get them up as soon as I can. Story of my life. Anyway, remember me at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. I'll be reviewing some of the older stuff too. So until next time, bye-bye.